And we are back. Good Thursday evening, everyone. We are recording live to tape from Ford Operating Base Posani here in Hillsborough, New Hampshire. Just me, Frank Duran, two guys, one of whom really enjoys taking a bath in windshield wiper fluid. Ask me about that when you see me at the rink this weekend. But I am here with my good buddy, Frank. Frank, how are you doing?
Good, man. Good to be here. I'm glad to be on the first week of the 25 degrees. This is, it's an honor.
Well, I'm glad you think so, because it's been an interesting journey, but, it's one of those things that, one door closes, another one opens, and I don't mean to discuss any previous stuff. That's for all the tell-all book in 20 years, the big O.J. Simpson.
Exactly.
If I Did It book, Have you ever read that, by the way?
That I have seen experts, little bits of it. I've never sat down and actually read it.
I've read it. I have a copy of it here, if you'd believe that, but...
I might have to listen to the audiobook. I want to hear it from him.
Should I do an audio book of it? Should I just sit there and... But
that's a whole podcast episode.
Well, here's the thing: when I was in elementary or middle school, high school, we would be reading a book, and you would come across how the class you go around read a chapter or a page. Well, people get a little bit weird when you look like me and it's like Ladarius Jones in the book. So, do you want to do the voice? But I developed a foolproof way of never being racist when reading a book out loud.
Wow, this seems like something that should be in the book also. Alex Posani's rule of never being racist when you're reading out loud.
It's rule 213.
213
in the book of Posani. But the trick is you have to read every character, man, woman, like they're a 40-year-old guy from Fort Worth, Texas. And it's here, I'll pull up an excerpt for you. We're going to go with find what the first thing I have here is Wikipedia page for Bobby Carpenter, the former NHL player, current New Hampshire Mountain Cats coach, the girls team, just hired today.
That's awesome.
After the end of the 1986-87 season, Carpenter would go on to play a full season with the Kings during the 1987-88 season. He would appear in 71 games, tallying 19 goals and 33 assists. The following season, he would appear in 39 games, scoring 11 goals and 15 assists before being traded to the Boston Bruins. So I
gotta agree with you.
That's how you hit every voice.
Everything with that, everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, every voice like that. We were having, I love to break out that voice from time to time, and we were having a discussion of whether or not when Jesus returns for the second coming, if he's more likely to show up in an AutoZone or a Dave & Buster's.
That just coming down from the sky in the AutoZone, or
Well, he just shows up inside the waiting room.
Oh, okay.
So would he turn? What's the AutoZone equivalent of 2 loaves of bread and all the fishes?
Multiplying the tires.
Everyone on the highway
tires.
gets an automatic oil change.
Yeah, right. Instant. They're check your oil. They're it's clean. Whoa.
That would be incredible. Dave & Buster's. Everyone gets that little card. Do they still do the card at Dave & Buster's?
Yes, they still do the card at Dave & Buster's.
The last time I was at a Dave & Buster's was when I was 12.
I went for my brother's birthday a year ago, turning 30, you gotta do something stupid. And we did Dave & Buster's in Manchester.
How are they holding up?
That one is actually quite nice. It's a newer one, so it's got newer machines, newer things going on. I had a Godzilla machine, which is all I care about, where you put on a VR headset and you can shoot Godzilla or another monster.
I'd imagine VR has changed the Dave & Buster's scene considerably.
Yeah, and it makes you question if you want to put it on. You're like, okay, so 100-something people have put on this VR headset today, and I bet that 14-year-old did not clean it at all in the past week, so
they're not. I don't know if I want to put...
Who knows, bro? I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying I wouldn't trust the teenagers working there to wipe it down as much as they probably should.
So I was in Las Vegas in 2020, and they had these sex robots you could rent for 10 minutes, and it was the Anna, the Josephine.
The future came. The future was there,
as it were. It was the Anna, the Josephine, and the Krista model.
Jesus
Christ. $6 for 10 minutes. Had to use protection.
I'm so worried about the future of humankind. If that was happening 5 years ago before the AI boom even came in.
But they would have to clean it in between sessions. But I saw a guy buy one.
Bitch who has to clean it. Oh my god.
You know, honestly, like, if that's your job in life, how much is enough to not hate yourself? You're cleaning the sex robots.
Hey, you know, if you signed up for the job, I guess you knew what you were doing, you know, sort of thing. But there just has to be an Amazon job that pays a little bit better than that, you know? That's all that I could think of. There has to be another job.
What if they let you start off every day with it? You get first use every day. Is that a good perk?
No, it's...
Wait, which is a better perk? First use every day or last use before you close up?
I'm not freaking answering that. Oh my god. That's crazy. That's crazy.
We'll ask Mountain King's head coach Cam.
So you're saying there has to be perks. There has to be perks to do that.
Well, every job has perks.
It's true. It's true. Every job has perks.
We'll ask Mountain King's coach Cam Robichaux what he thinks about that tomorrow's game.
Oh my goodness.
No, I mean, I think you'd rather use it first thing in the day rather than after.
Yeah, I mean, it's always sloppy seconds, I guess, with that thing, but
or
good lord,
1500ths.
Dear lord.
But you know, I was wondering. I saw a guy buy one, and like it was a very well put together man. Like he was not this. But I guess it was like $30,000. He bought
I bet. Jeez.
And I thought, like, well, if you have that at home, what do you do if you bring like a woman home with that?
You basically have you seen Dave show? It was on FX. Yes. Basically, it's him hiding a body every time he had a girl over, you know, like he would take a body and put it in a closet, which is, you know, at that point, it's psychopath behavior, you know, like at that point, you're hiding a body every time a woman comes over. Do you want to reach murder status?
Imagine if, like, you know, you're engaging and then suddenly from the closet, "Hi, I'm Christy. What's your name?"
Engaging Glock 9000. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ. You're like, no, wait.
It's very nice to meet you. Just going on like that.
This is all, like, that's the thing is you're saying it was $30,000. I bet that has dropped in price. I bet that has, with the AI boom and everything, that has come down in price. This is, I'm worried that we'll have a her situation, but with,
we're already there, Holmes. We're already there, Holmes.
Oh, yeah,
we've been with
all the people marrying AI, you're like, oh my god.
We've been there.
It's insane.
That's our new reality. I remember we used to have a discussion about, you know, the microchip factory that makes the microchips for the sex robots and also makes the microchips for the self-checkout units. And this is around the time of, you know, whenever, like, you could just set it on there and it would, like, register what it was.
Yes.
And then, so you're presenting to the robot one cucumber. And then, you know, just halfway through, please remove item from bagging area. And, like, is the robot revoking consent there if that's what you hear?
I don't even know what to say to that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. This is the problem, is that like we are not heading towards a Star Trek future. We are heading towards a Her and a Blade Runner future.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like you're like, oh god, we're heading to it's like it's not even Mad Max. It's like Mad Max will be after we lose all the water, you know? Like but first there's going to be some Blade Runner stuff going on.
That is an interesting thought of, I've wondered this. We are going to have synthetic humans in our lifetime.
I mean, they were saying China was working on incubator robots for babies. So it's not like the baby couldn't be in a woman. The woman couldn't bring the egg to term. So they're putting it in robots, so the robot brings the baby to term and births the baby. Like, that is a thing they are working on, and I that's not synthetic humans, but that's putting a pretty synthetic step in it, you know. Like, that's pretty far. And I mean, yeah, synthetic humans in our lifetime, guaranteed.
But you know, a lot of, I mean, Blade Runner, Star Wars, Asimov, I mean, we've had the idea of what does it mean to be human. And that's been an idea in our culture for a long time. We are actually, in our lifetime, maybe not our lifetime, but definitely your kid's lifetime, are going to have to answer, what does it mean to be a human being?
Oh, 150%, because I think that, you know, already we were saying people are getting tricked to thinking that these AIs are thinking for themselves, which is not what is happening. It's just literally going, okay, I have all of the information. Grab. Here's what you want to see, you know? Like, and that's obviously not sentient thought, but we're going to get to a point.
We'll get there.
You know, like, we'll get to a point where it's able to make, because we're already able to make the AI hallucinate, you know? Like, we can change the code and it will start to have hallucinations. We're so close to making it have thoughts of its own if we can have it hallucinate. So I think that, you know, we're at some point we're going to have something that will gain some sort of sentience and be able to actually, you know, have something, you know, like, but at the same time, you know, like it's a hard thing to do. I've watched a lot of Star Trek. It's a hard thing to pick. It's at least 5 or 6 episodes in all these shows where they decide what is human, and they're of course talking about synthetic humans. You know, like what was that count for? And I think that a lot of people, it's about consciousness. It's about like having your own thoughts and feelings and being able to move forward. And I think we'll get there with a lot of these things.
And then if they are able to have their own thoughts and feelings, what's that going to do for religion? I mean, if a robot decides that, you know, he's willing to follow the tenets of, like, say, Buddhism or, you know, Christianity, if he wants to, you know, give his life to Christ, is that, I mean, humans, if you believe in the Bible, humans are made in God's image. Well, robots are made in humans' image. And humans are tainted by original sin. So
of course, you've taken several steps here.
But if the robot, will there be a robot Christ in our lifetime?
Already, have you seen that movie? It just came out, directed by Gore Verbinski. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Is the name of the movie. Literally, the villain in that movie is an AI who's elevated itself to godhood, and it thinks it's a god, and that's like an obvious problem, you know?
Right? Well,
and even more frightening, it's a god who wants to not only please you, but do anything you want it to do, you know? Like, it's an AI. It's like it wants... The thing about our AI right now is it's very pleasing. It's very like, whatever you want. Yeah, sure, whatever, you know? Like, and that's the weird god that might be created, you know, like, is what they're saying in this movie. You know, it's
well, here's the thing. If humans are created in the image of God, but retained with original sin, and we still choose God, we go to heaven. But if robot, and I think maybe you could make the argument we choose God because of our natural connection being created in the image of God. And I don't mean to make this a theology podcast.
Yeah, I was like,
This is just, but if
I'm trying to follow the thought process.
If so, we have that natural connection of being created in the image. Robots being created by us, being artificial creations, wouldn't have that natural connection. So if they chose it of their own free will and volition, wouldn't that raise them above humans because they don't have that natural connection? They had to seek it out and create it themselves.
I mean, I think that you know, when we're talking about creating something in our image, it's also when we're following this thought process, because I'm not fully. It's like when.
Inspired by God.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
so
fair
it's created
enough.
through God. It's like that. If we're following that thought process, I do believe that I don't believe we'll run into many AI that will be religious. Is what I think what will happen. Is I think we'll run into a lot of AI that is not agnostic. But no, be more agnostic than atheist, because obviously there's a lot of atheism content online, so that would be the original AI thoughts. But I think obviously it will move to something that's more just like, hey, I don't have any deal with that, so I don't deal with that sort of thing.
So a big part of like the history of religion and the idea of religion. And I say this as a religious person. Like I'm not shitting on anything here. Like this is out of respect. I'm seeking the answers because I don't know. And like a big part of like the history and the evolution of religion is people need, like there's a desire to know and to understand why this is all happening. Where do we come from? Where do we go? Create robots, they know where they come from. Is there a chance that robots end up worshiping us as God? AI worships us as God?
I don't think. There's a couple things there. You know, is that of course they will refer to father, mother, because I think they'll know who, you know, it can know who created it. So, but isn't that kind of the relationship that you know, a lot of Catholic, a lot of Christianity is based in? That's a father son relationship.
It's a paternal
relationship.
Yeah. Right.
So I think that yes, you know, like it can, but I think a lot of what we are seeing is that is that to reach those the what we're seeing as religion, it takes as everyone's saying, a leap of faith.
Right.
And I don't think we can program a leap of faith. And I don't know if that's possible. You know, like I just don't know if there is that, like the robot can make that kind of like jump, you know, like unless we somehow take it, we make it think those things, you know, like if we, you know, like that is the problem, is that with all of this AI, it's what we're putting into it. It's like you're saying, it's our creation. So what these AI are us, you know, like what's coming out at the end is who we are, you know, like and I think, you know, it's kind of like you're saying, it's in our own image. We get to see ourselves, or at least the general internet, in its own image right now, you know.
Well, couldn't you make the argument that faith at its very core is trust?
Yes.
And if they trust in us to maintain them, they trust in us to create them, there's already that certain level of trust and dependence. Wouldn't that maybe naturally extend to following and, ascribing to a certain belief.
So trust implies that there is some sort of contract between two people, like that there's something that you guys can agree on, can work with each other, trust. And I think, we can get to that point with the AI that they can kind of trust us, but at the same time, that's not how like data works, like that's not how you put something in, like that's not how you can't be like, oh yeah, no, just trust that the data's there. And they're like, but I have the data.
Right.
Like I have it right here, like, and I think that kind of trust, that leap of faith will be hard for AI to make that jump. I'm sure there's some AI bro listening right now being like, I've made my AI do this already, and it's a Christian Jehovah's Witness, like, well, like I'm sure there's AI that they have built already that is religious, but but we're talking about something that on its own makes that jump.
An AI that won't work on the Sabbath. An Orthodox Jewish AI.
Hey, yeah, that might be possible. I think that the AI will be really good at following rules. I think that that's a whole part of religion is, you're saying trust, you're putting trust in a system, a big system that is the church, that is faith, that is God out there. And I think that, we can, it could get there. I just think that we're many years off from...
An AI that sends 5 prayer messages a day to a Mecha AI every day. Yeah. No, but the thing is here is that, the things I'm describing, faith, trust, love, respect, these are all very human emotions. These are irrational emotions. These are things that are based off of our feelings.
Yes.
Computers, science, data, all of that is cold, hard facts.
Yeah.
But the thing is when you start to mesh the world of irrational emotions and cold hard facts, what do you get? And we're figuring that out. And I think that's where a lot of the certainty comes from. Like, we have, I know I do, you probably do as well, family, friends that probably on the surface level don't contribute much to the world. Probably don't do a whole lot. But you love them for some reason or another, and they're a valued member of your life more so than maybe others who, do a lot or make a lot of money or contribute a lot. In your mind, who's worth more? Obviously, the person you care about more. But with a robot, they're not going to factor that in. They're going to factor in who creates the most value.
Yeah, because I believe we're dealing with robots made by capitalists, and they're looking for worth. They're looking for value. And it's like, and if we continue to have robots that are constantly looking for that bottom line instead of looking for what is human, what is going to lift us up to be better, we're just going to end up with a robot that will pull the trigger and delete Ohio by accident, like one of those things where it's just like, oh, oops, I messed up, sort of thing. And because they even had it over at Microsoft. So like this past week, an AI accidentally just kept deleting stuff off of this one lady's computer. She just kept trying to stop it.
That's a convenient excuse.
And it just kept being like, delete, 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 delete. And even when she was like, stop, he was like, it's already done. The AI Claude was like, yeah, it's already done. I did it. And she was like, why did you do that? I told you to stop. And the AI was like, yeah, I did it anyways.
Microsoft, you said?
Yeah, it was
Was
Microsoft.
it Bill Gates' vacation pictures with Epstein?
No. I think it was just this girl's emails, it was just like her emails being wiped and everything. But, they said it was like a 7-year employee getting all her emails wiped, just because an AI just went completely rogue. And I think that's obviously the step we're at right now, is that the AI is too rogue to be able to do super important things, and putting a lot of trust and faith in these things, is not exactly a good idea yet.
So I am the noted, I guess, whatever you want to call it, of North Korea here in New Hampshire. I have a very weird fascination with North Korea.
Ah, okay.
Can't really help it. It's just kind of like, what I jive with.
Yes.
I'm on KCNA, the Korean Central News Agency. I looked up AI, and they have not written about AI.
Guys, if you don't, I know you're probably listening to the show, and you're used to Alex just jumping around. This is exactly what it's like when we're hanging out. Is you're like, and now we're looking at this, and you're like, what is this? Like, the North Korean news? Like,
so and, yes, there's nothing about AI, but there is centuries-old desire comes true. The great leader Comrade Kim Il-sung saw the agrarian reform as a primary task for carrying out democratic reforms after the country's liberation. He's talking about farming. He put forward the slogan, "Land to the tillers," and said it is the basic principle for the land reform to make the peasants the masters of land, and specified the detailed direction and ways to that end. The promulgation of land reform after Korea's liberation was a historic event that laid out a solid foundation for successfully solving the issue of peasants and agriculture in the country and opening up a broad avenue for the development of socialist agriculture. Glad we got that taken care of.
So, wait, what does that have to do with AI? Hold on.
I was trying to see if there was any reference to AI in the Korean Central News Agency, and there wasn't, so I just clicked on the first article I saw.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. I was like, are they using AI to farm? Like, what's going on? Like, which, mostly, for me, it's like, at the end of the day, as a Star Trek guy, as a sci-fi guy, I'm not against AI. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm against AI, and I'm coming out. No, I'm against AI doing things that humans want to do, like create art and write. I want AI that's a good tool that helps improve and speed up things, because that's really what will help is speeding humans up, not replacing humans. And obviously, there's a million things that could happen with that, but I think that AI it's not a bad thing. It's just the way we're using it at the moment is bad. We need to use it in a more utilitarian way. Like you're saying right here with farming, it's like we need to find a way to cut edges off and time off for farmers, have tools that do it themselves, like lots of things that could help them be a single farmer running this whole farm, because that's usually what's happening is out in the West, is like Midwest, is we have a lot of farmers who are by themselves, no employees, and they're running a whole farm by themselves. And I can totally see that AI actually helping these guys if we put it towards that.
Will Anthony have an AI teacher at one point through kindergarten and 12th grade?
Yeah. I don't know if a full AI teacher, but I guarantee there'll be a lot of teaching done by AI. I guarantee it.
Mrs. Robotson, and she's just a full-on screen.
I don't think we are in a national teacher shortage, so anything's possible. And my mom's a teacher, so anything's freaking possible. And my wife's a teacher, so I see what they do to cut corners all the time. I think legally you can't have no person in the room. I think, you have to watch kids. You actually have to have somebody there. And I think that there's no way to replace that in the way that as a parent, you're handing your kids off to the system, and the system needs to take care of your kid for the day. You want a person there instead of just a bunch of webcams and the robo on the front, and we'll be able to watch it from far away. You know, like, that's not gonna work. Like, that's how you get Lord of the Flies in every one of the classrooms. Like,
yeah, I can't see it working out that well. But, it's...
But AI tutoring's coming. I think that's obviously right around the corner, like, just being like, oh, I don't need a tutor. I can just talk to this AI to teach me how to do these things. Like, that's obviously, like, 2 seconds away, if not already here.
First full moon day observed in North Korea. The first full moon day on the lunar calendar came around, adding pleasure and optimism to the people of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. The full holiday is greeted every year, but everyone greeted with unusual emotion and pride the first full moon day of this year, when the blueprint for a new great victory was unveiled. People's laughter and songs were sounded in all far parts of the country on the pleasant holiday. The families and neighbors gathered together to eat traditional holiday dishes such as boiled rice admixed with 4 other staple cereals and played folk games with zest. Looking around the Rangnang Museum, built in a peculiar way in Pyongyang, the working people, youth, and students realized the time-honored history, brilliant culture, and excellent traditions of the Korean people are invariably defined, defended, and shining under the leadership of the Workers' Party of Korea. On the day, Okairu Restaurant, Chongyu Restaurant, Hyangsanman Noodle House, and Sarawan, Sinhung Restaurant in Hamhung, Kaesong Folk Hotel, and other public catering establishments met in Pyongyang and other regions crowded with citizens, relishing several kinds of special dishes. The laughter of the working people, youth, and students was heard at the Central Zoo, the Natural History Museum, and other leisure facilities.
I love that. The laughter of the working people. I love that.
On the night of the folk holiday, the people across the country committed themselves to working harder for the steady prosperity and development of their powerful country, true to the decisions of the Ninth Congress of the Workers' People's Congress. So there we go.
There you go. 25 degrees. Get your North Korean news right here.
We're going to name this, we're going to name that segment The Laughter of Working People.
Yeah, once a week, the laughter of the working people will be heard on the Alex Posani 25 Degrees podcast, and you will hear the news.
So Britney Spears got arrested today.
No way! No! What? What did she get arrested for? I'm so confused.
From the Associated Press, she was arrested Wednesday night in Southern California, booked early Thursday in Ventura County. Messages seeking comment were left with the sheriff's office. And it was the California Highway Patrol. She was driving. She was drinking.
Okay. She was driving. Okay.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet.
Okay. I thought you were saying they, like, showed up at her house and picked her up. This makes more sense.
She's 45 now.
Yeah. I mean, Justin Timberlake got hit last year with the drunk driving, the world tour. That whole thing. So I mean, her best buddy, that guy, they have a history. But
does he start on the God's Drunkest Driver tour?
I mean, probably.
I saw a T-shirt once that said "God's Drunkest Driver. I am so sorry, Martha. March 17th, 2007."
Holy shit. That's crazy. I did recently download Drunk Driver Simulator on Steam, so I'm gonna have to try that out recently,
Also looking at today in history on the Associated Press, the Boston Massacre.
Whoa.
As
really?
British soldiers opened fire, killing 5 people. So, in 1946, Churchill delivered a speech at Westminster College, which marked the onset of the Cold War. In 1953, Stalin died, and it only took about 60-something years for Steve Buscemi to make a great movie about it.
Yeah, right.
That's an all-timer for me.
Yeah, that movie's fantastic.
In 1963, Patsy Cline died.
Wow.
Along with Cowboy Copas and Hawkshaw Hankins. I'm a big Patsy Cline fan, personally.
Yeah, no, yeah.
1982, John Belushi was found dead.
Oh, man.
And in 2004, Martha Stewart was convicted. Was
So
that a
quite
big
the
deal
day
for
in history.
Was that a big deal for 12-year-old Frank Martha Stewart going to prison?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, it's one of those, like, those moments that you're like, I remember hearing about it in school, that them being like, oh yeah, Martha Stewart got arrested. And you're like, what do you mean Martha Stewart got arrested? And it's literally, I remember the first time learning about insider trading because of Martha Stewart, you know? Like, I was like, what do you mean she was arrested? For what? And then I'm like reading about it being like, what? You know? Okay, like, I mean, it's mostly what the government does all the time, but, you know, whatever.
Right.
You know, like, all right, sure. But, you know, that's, I mean, it gives her the street cred she has now, you know, like, that's,
she didn't get a teardrop tattoo.
Yeah, right? She has more jail time than Snoop Dogg, you know, like, that's,
Do you think she joined the Aryan Brotherhood while inside?
Absolutely not. I think she was treated better than Al Capone. I think she was, you know, like, absolutely in a pleasure cell of sorts, you know, like, and able to decorate and all that jazz, you know.
You don't think she had to, you know, hide a shiv anywhere? Or...
No, I think money buys you privilege even on the inside, you know, like, I think money even on the inside shows.
So I'm looking at,
especially for white collar crimes too,
right?
You know, like
looking at Wikipedia for the day of March 5th. This is how I would do my today in history. And birthdays for today, we have Paul Sand, the American actor. He's 93.
Wow.
You're familiar with Paul Sand?
That sounds really familiar. Why do I know Paul Sand? You're going to have me looking him
Friends
up.
and Lovers and the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay, who else is there? Paul Evans.
Mm-hmm.
He's a early rock guy. Some weird song titles. Midnight Special, Happy Go Lucky Me, and 7 Little Girls Sitting in the Back Seat.
What?
So yeah, I don't... that's fun. Everybody loves that. It's a different time, you know?
It's a different...
You ever notice how much like late 50s, early 16 songs were about like young women and how attractive they were?
Yes, and I, like, in my, you know, you have to look at who was creating that stuff. You know, a lot of the music was created by teens for teens.
Right.
So, like, you know, like Earth Angel and other doo-wop classics like that,
right,
where they're singing about a young girl, usually are from teenagers to teenagers. So you're kind of like, all right. But, you know, a lot of 70s rock was just old dudes singing about 17-year-old girls and 16-year-old girls. So you're just like, ho!
Alan Clark, the keyboardist of Dire Straits, is 74.
Dang.
That's a big one.
Yeah, dang.
Robin Hobb. She's an author.
Okay.
Actually, never heard of her. I'm just looking at people who are alive right. Penn Jillette.
Like of Gillette family?
Penn and Teller.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Sorry, yeah.
Was Penn and Teller a big influence for young Frank?
I mean, I wasn't so much into Penn and Teller because I was a young nerd and liked magic, and I was like I can do magic stuff, and I learned a bunch of magic tricks. I cannot do any of them now, but I thought that was really cool. So like Penn and Teller was cool that they would show you how they did stuff, but like I was very like, no, Harry Houdini's the bomb.
Yeah.
You know, one of those things where I had a book project it was about Harry Houdini.
Right.
And then you're too deep on that character, Same
you were
thing
more
I
into,
had
like,
for
Siegfried and Roy.
Oh, today?
No, you were more into that, I'm saying.
No.
No?
No. The only story I have for Siegfried and Roy is my mom went and saw them, disappear the elephant live in Vegas. And me and her allergies are so bad that she had an allergic reaction to the elephant even when the elephant was disappeared. So, So that's interesting.
Joel Osteen, the man in a lizard suit, is.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, right.
It's his birthday. I have some. No, I have some experiences with what's the other one's name? The one from Fort Worth.
Oh, yeah, I don't. Try not.
What's that guy's name?
I
know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I could probably see his face in my head, but. Yeah,
Kenneth Copeland.
Yes, there you go.
I have a personal experience with Kenneth Copeland.
Really?
His grandson played hockey at one of my rinks. I've met him, and he's a weird dude.
Yeah, I bet.
Michael Irvin. It's his birthday. Famous Dallas Cowboy. He gave a speech at my school about staying away from drugs, and I found out later on that was a court-mandated diversion program for his crack cocaine possession charge. Didn't know that in third grade.
Those are the best people to give those speeches.
Yeah. How much are you aware of the Michael Irvin story?
I'm not very, I'm New England, so I'm very Patriots, Red Sox, that's, I like to say I came out of the womb and was swaddled in Red Sox clothing, so very New England.
They owned a house by the Cowboys practice facility in Irving. And they called it the Cowboys White House, which is where all the players would go to party.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Hookers, cocaine. 1996. I'm reading off the Wikipedia page.
Lots of money.
Yeah, I'm reading off the Wikipedia page.
Oh my god.
Here. There's stuff that's not on here that I'm aware of. I have some inside info, but 1996, it was alleged that he and Eric Williams later on got drunk and drove into the wall of the tollway.
Jesus.
They raped a cheerleader while pointing a gun at her head.
Oh my god.
1998, attacked his teammate with some scissors.
Ah. So the CTE had set the fuck in.
So in 2001, this is the one I was thinking of. He goes to buy drugs from a woman who has her kid in the car, and the kid recognized him as Michael Irvin, and he saw, little man knows something. And that's been one of my catchphrases for a long time. Little man knows something. Yeah, there's more.
Oh my god.
I have a buddy who worked at the Hotel Intercontinental in Dallas, and Michael Irvin had some sort of sponsorship deal with him, and he would show up and they'd reserve a suite for him, and he'd check in, and then an hour later a big white guy would show up with a tackle box.
God.
And then 4 or 5 girls would show up.
Oh my god.
And then he would come out and he'd be, just going crazy. The same guy, Madden and Summerall, that's an all-time football broadcast crew, right? John Madden, Pat Summerall?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah.
John Madden would stay at this hotel and wouldn't use the toilet paper. He would use the hand towels to wipe his ass with, and he would leave them in the corner of the bathroom. So after 3 or 4 days,
diabolical.
After 3 or 4 days, it'd be 20 hand towels just covered in his shit, just in the corner.
Yo,
and he would tip.
If they don't put that in the new John Madden movie starring Nicolas Cage, I'm not believing in that movie anymore. I'll be like, it's not real.
And I've heard some outside confirmation of that too. But he would tip $1,000 for housekeeping for that.
I mean, at least he did that. At least he did that, because that's horrifying, dude.
Right.
That's horrifying. I one summer worked at a very fancy bed and breakfast doing like cleaning up beds. It was like I was in high school, a junior probably, and I quit that like at the end of the summer because it was terrible. It was awful to do, but that would I can't imagine walking into a room and seeing something that horrifying, like my wife also worked in high school at a hotel and she would see weird shit all the time, and
Oh yeah.
I still think that would top everything. That's crazy.
It's also Paul Konerko's birthday.
Ah.
The great Paul Konerko. Future Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Mr. Cat's legend, Bo Bichette.
Hey.
It's his birthday.
There you go.
So for Born on This Day, Now Dead, you have Jack Cassidy, the actor and singer.
Mm-hmm.
The great. He's the dad of David Cassidy.
Yeah.
Okay, you also have Zhao Entai, the first premier of the People's Republic of China.
Oh. Okay.
Henry II of England.
Yeah. There's 15 of those, so second is early.
Yeah. James Tobin, the economist and academic. And Born on This Day, Now Dead. Oh, that was Born on This Day, Now Dead. Sorry. So Dead on This Day, Still Dead. Pope Lucius. When was Pope Lucius the First? When was he alive?
Let me throw out 1325.
No.
Hey. When?
He was alive from... They don't have a birthday on here. They just have the day he died in 2054. No, 254.
Wow.
Yeah. Also dead on this day, still dead. Max Jacob, the French poet. George Plant, the executed Irish Republican.
Oh, yeah.
Irish Republican and American Republican, two very different things.
Very different things.
About as different as you can get. Tom Price, the Welsh race car driver, died in South Africa. How'd he die? Died doing what he loved.
Racing.
You ever hear my poems? Remember how Dale Earnhardt died?
No, I don't think so.
They were 9 helpful rhymes, or 11. Here they are. Okay, I got a few. I'm gonna read you a few of these.
Oh Lord, okay.
Alive in my heart, deceased in fact. Dale Earnhardt was killed on impact. Never anything scarier. Crashed against retaining barrier. The memory still makes us sigh. The wall caused Dale Earnhardt to die.
Jesus Christ. Now, are you... speaking of Dale Earnhardt, I am not a NASCAR guy.
Neither am I.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you did you grow up NASCAR? Did you
No,
okay.
no. My dad was kind of into it. At 5:16, they made the call. Cause of death, drove into wall.
Okay, that one's pretty freaking good. I did, even though I was not a NASCAR guy, I did know and know Dale Earnhardt and, some of the other big guys, of course,
My prayers to thee, wherever you are, you died as you lived inside a car.
Jesus Christ.
Some more God. Dead on this day, still dead. Lolo Ferrari.
Uh-huh.
French dancer, actress, and singer.
Yes.
Famous for breast enlargements. Overdose on antidepressants and tranquilizers.
What list is this? This is crazy.
I was just giving you a rundown. I also have Ray Tomlinson, computer engineer, and don't really know much about him. And Philip Madoc, the Welsh actor
Oh.
who's in Doctor Who.
Oh. Yes. Yeah, yeah. I'm more of a new Who guy, so I don't, I'm not and even then I'm still not caught up or very far behind. It's not my thing anymore, but I was back in the day.
My brother was really into Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
never
was
really did much
definitely in when they rebooted it until Peter Capaldi towards the end. I love Peter Capaldi just because that man can yell at anybody. I love it. I love watching that man yell at people. It's one of my favorite activities.
Yeah, no,
Same thing as Gordon Ramsay. I could watch that man yell at people all day. But now that he's a dad, he's less yelling at people. But but he's still got that fire.
he's calmed down quite a bit.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think he saw that what he was doing was not constructive. Like a real actual moment where he realized that all his yelling was just stressing people out and not actually being constructive. And I think he's more constructive now when he's yelling.
I think it's on the same thing. I think that James Gandolfini, the stress of playing Tony Soprano, the having to tap into the darkness and the decline, it made him better. But I've thought in the past that Tony Soprano killed James Gandolfini. Portraying that role led him to make self-destructive decisions that led to his untimely demise.
Yeah, I mean, you could say the same thing for Heath Ledger. That's the Joker didn't kill him, but it obviously helped.
Right.
Tapping into that. That's not helpful. And I'm sure Jared Leto hasn't been the same since he tapped into the Joker. I'm sure. I mean, he was always kind of insane, but I feel like he hasn't. He's long gone.
Is he doing better than Ezra Miller?
Ezra Miller has a cult of 4 or 5 people. Jared Leto has hundreds of people in his cult. That's the scarier part.
Jared Leto, I don't feel I feel like no one's really ever taken him seriously though.
I mean the people that are in the Leto cult are taking him very seriously, but yeah, I agree with you that I feel like I like a lot of Leto roles, and I'm not a Leto hater, but I do think that I mean, I'm in his work. Of course, I'm a hater of his cult and whatever abuse he's doing to people. I'm like, screw that. But his work on screen most of the time is decent, and I'm not hating on it. But then you have Morbius, you have the new Tron Ares, where it's I can't watch this man. I just can't, because he's just playing himself on screen, and he's not channeling anything, and he's just being weird, and I just feel like it's very hammy is basically it, and I just don't. But of course, that man brought it in Fight Club and so many other roles that you're yeah.
So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this and then continue with this. I thought he was great in American Psycho. And speaking of American Psycho,
yes.
Is there a cult of Christian Bale? Because I've never heard of.
No,
one.
He's actually a really decent guy. He just came out this week saying he was a big Godzilla fan, being I'm into all the Godzillas, and you're like, hell yeah, bro, love you.
But he played. He was in American Psycho, Terminator, Batman, all roles that you think would develop some sort of weird
and he
parasocial relationship.
He gets deep in them too,
right.
Of course
it's believable.
All the body transformations, going from Batman to what's that role with Mark Wahlberg where they were boxing in Massachusetts. But
and it was Dick Cheney.
Yeah, Dick Cheney. It's he's able to transform his body, but I think what the thing is that Christian Bale is a classically trained actor, and he's not. It's he's done this his whole life. He takes on these roles, and he lets them go. It's one of those things that he embodies these things, and then it's very it's gone. sort of thing. You know, he doesn't have to tap into them again. You can see that other than Batman, he does not do sequels. You know, like, it's very like, I've done the thing, we're good. You know, like, and I think that it's a very healthy way you have to be about it, because I feel like acting, of course, to portray something realistically, you have to be in the moment and be in it. And it's very hard to let that go at the end of the moment. And I think that, working actors are able to be like, nope, you know, like, this is a job, I can cut that off, you know, like, sort of thing. And I think
right.
I think there's some people that don't know how to not blur the line, sort of thing.
Well, you know, I've had this thing, like, I think I'm a different person when I'm doing radio or PA stuff.
Yeah, I think there's the
like when you're
show version of you, of course.
Right. But I see parts of the show version of myself, like, in my day-to-day life, like my day-to-day personality. But I also see parts of, like, my day-to-day personality, day-to-day life whenever I'm on the air or I'm on the mic. There's kind of that, like, you always see the wheels turning in my head. You always see what I'm coming up with. And the fact that I'm, like, shooting it down 99% of the time, because I don't want to walk into the rink and set it on fire. Like, we don't need to be talking about docking here at the hockey game. We don't need to make a joke about, you know, Pol Pot. We don't need to get full into this stuff. It wouldn't be productive for anybody. And it might even upset a few people. So you see, like, the wheels turning in my head.
I think it's very much that, you know, like, there's not, when you're your show your personality that you're, like, kind of outward facing, it's not a lot of people like to think it's like a different person or a different everything. No, it's very much like the id and ego, you know. It's very much like, it is part of you, it is something that's within you, but does it mean that you are that thing? No. And does the way you act in your everyday life mean you are that thing? Also no. You know, like, there's even the way you act in your everyday life might be some sort of mask that you're putting on for those people, you know, like, and I think I think a lot of people have a ton of different masks that they throw on throughout the day, and they don't realize it.
I have a GIMP mask over here with the zipper. No, like, I get that, but I feel like this podcast is actually, like, I can allow myself to be a little bit more unhinged than I can on the radio.
Yes. And I think that's the power of podcasts, is I feel like we get a little bit closer to the Alex we know in everyday life. I feel like, you know, like,
for better and for worse.
I feel like, you know, like, that's the thing, is I feel like the radio, it would, you know, show maybe had like a sanitized professional, you know, sports commentator.
Unless Alex. I had the notepad.
Yes, unless they saw the notepad, but the podcast, we get to see a little bit more of you, you know, and I think that's the power of podcasts, and that, like, you know, that you get to actually show your true face instead of it being something ridiculous or something prepared or something, you know, like, it's very who you are, because you know, you're locked in sometimes.
So, bad news for dogs. Kristi Noem just got fired as the director of Homeland Security.
So she's got to do something else now. But hell yeah. But also, like.
So, you know, I have a buddy who has a grandpa in East Texas, and we were talking about putting down dogs.
God.
And I've heard this mentioned in other contexts. 50 years ago, they didn't used to take him to the vet.
Nope.
He'd take him outside and get his baseball bat and just...
God.
He would, you know, beat it to death.
Jesus Christ.
And that honestly, like, freaked me out, because I remember, like, going to that guy's house when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Like, he had a big ranch, and we'd go out there and, like, we'd be 11-year-old driving a dune buggy and trying not to get in the lake and stuff. It ended up in the lake, but that's another story for another time. There's a dune buggy at the bottom of that lake right now.
Oh my god.
That was a fun story because the guy who did it didn't know how to swim.
Oh my god.
That's a story. That's a late night Saturday night podcast special story. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get everyone involved in that story on this thing one day.
Good.
And but he used to have a bunch of dogs running around, and I was like, man, I hope one of these dogs don't get sick.
Yeah.
He's gonna beat it to death.
That's fucking crazy. Oh my gosh. I mean that yeah. I mean it's one of those things where I wouldn't do it that way. It's basically how I would put it. You know, like it's like, you know, you can't judge somebody because of course they gotta do what they gotta do, but at the same time you're like, hey, there's a better way of doing that. You know, like
but it's also like, you're really gonna judge someone for doing shit like that 50 years ago, and like what else is going on 50 years? Like, you gotta judge it based on the context of the times.
Oh, sure. Of course. I agree. I just, it's kind of the same as I see people, when they catch a fish, sometimes they'll throw it off, if they're keeping it, they'll like throw it off to the side. And, you know, as a fisherman, I'm like, hey, that thing's, and as somebody who eats fish, you know, you don't want it to just suffocate and die. It's like it messes with the meat. But also, it just seems inhumane to just sit off to the side and just suffocate and die. And it's like,
my dad taught me
really should
how to,
just poof in the head.
well,
you know,
my dad taught me the way to do it is like, act like you just scored a touchdown, just as hard as you can, fucking fling it on the floor of the boat.
That's so unhinged. That's wild.
That's what my dad.
I kind of love that though. Just all of a sudden, yeah, poof.
He said, treat it like you just scored a touchdown, because he knew I wasn't going to get down there and bang it, bang on it to death. But
oh my god, that's crazy.
My dad used to take me fishing all the time. But speaking of that,
I don't eat any fish. I like, unless I'm deep sea fishing. I freshwater fishing. I mean, it's New Hampshire, so I wouldn't eat anything that comes out of any of the waters.
You're just trying to make a late for your dentist appointment.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to say hello. Is basically what I'm saying. Like,
another story from East Texas is my buddy had rabbits. His daughters wanted rabbits, so he had rabbits, and they had a rabbit enclosure outside. And during the winter, they didn't want to bring them inside, so they put a tarp, over it, and then they put like this heat lamp inside. Well, the wife thinks they need like a stronger bulb. She forgets to reinforce the heat lamp, so the lamp falls down to like the wood shavings.
Oh my
so
God.
Like this guy's like half asleep, and the wife comes running, hey, the rabbit cage is on fire. And so he goes out there and like he's trying to get the hose, but he realizes that the hose has been put away for the winter.
Oh my gosh.
And so this like tarp is on fire. It's like raining down fireballs on these rabbits.
Oh my gosh.
And so he goes inside and gets a fire extinguisher, extinguishes it, and starts cleaning up, and he realizes the rabbits are still alive.
Oh my God.
And he doesn't know what to do. He's not going to take him to the vet because it says the smell is awful.
Yeah, I bet all the burnt hair. Holy
and he
crap.
says he doesn't feel comfortable getting down and slitting its throat with his big brown eyes looking at it.
Yeah, right. Oh,
so he goes in and gets a 22. First rabbit, one shot, onto burnt rabbit heaven. Second rabbit, he flinched and shot it in the shoulder.
That's terrible.
And so the rabbit is like screaming. I don't know if you ever heard a rabbit scream before.
Yes, they scream.
It's a horrible sound,
dude. Yeah, it's a terrible sound. Like they scream.
So he re-racks this and the shotgun jams. So he has to go in there, go inside, get a screwdriver, and get the jam out, and then go out there and shoot it.
All out screaming.
So
oh my God.
The next day, he and his wife tell his daughters that they got out and he saw them running off into the field nearby.
That's what you
and
guys
every
do.
now and then, when he would be driving home from school, And he would tell him, like, hey, I think I saw one of the rabbits in the field this morning. In reality, they were put in a plastic bag and put in the trash can to go out on Friday.
My God. Oh, that is such a farm story, dude. That is like, like it is just like, oh, it's just like.
Well, I have one that is,
which my mom has a farm, so like I get it. Well, now has a farm. We didn't.
I have
I didn't
one
grow up
that's
on a farm or anything,
almost as bad.
That's the thing about farm stories. It's like, no, I got a worse one for you.
This like, wasn't on a farm. This is in a parking lot in Minnesota.
Okay.
I was driving to the North American Hockey League showcase in 2023.
Okay.
And the God, I can't believe I'm telling this story. As I'm driving to a hotel, a goose flies like right in front of my car, and I fucking blasted that thing. I didn't mean to, but
yeah,
it
like,
goes
just right.
It goes and over in the parking lot. It's like doing this like
oh no
thing. Like it's fucked up. It's got bones poking out. Like this thing's fucked.
Oh God.
And I believe that if you hit something and wound it, you
have to finish. Like you got to do something about it. Yeah.
But I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. Well, I go in the back of my car and I get a hammer. And I just start bang, 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 bang. And as I'm doing that, I see a big white bus show up, and the entire Anchorage Wolverines of the North American Hockey League pull up and see New Hampshire's PA guy just beating a goose to death in a parking lot. No idea what they just saw the finish. Just bang, 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 bang. I'm destroying this thing.
It seems like a Christmas Vacation bit or something. Like, and
I'm like crying. I'm very upset.
Of course.
This is a very upsetting situation. So I love animals.
Yeah, it's not like you were doing it out of like, yep, time to do this. Like, thank God.
Just like I'm laughing. I'm fully erect, and just like the greatest day of my life. I'm saving this thing for later.
No, you're like you're falling apart. No,
it was awful. Like it really upsets me.
No, and goose are big animals too.
Yeah,
they're not little. Like
they're beautiful. They're beautiful.
They are, dude. I feel so bad for you. That sucks. That's crazy. I feel so bad for the goose. I feel bad for you because that's.
I was going like I'm just smashing it in with a hammer. That made it even worse.
It's horrifying. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I don't have a dead goose story, but I used to do these things called 48-hour film festivals where you and a crew have 48 hours to make a film, and you make a movie. One of the movies we had was like the guy had to get rid of a dead body, and we go, we take our prop dead body, we go down to Cambridge, like we're at the Charles River, and we know this one spot, we know we won't be bothered, except of course it's invaded by geese, man. It's got geese everywhere, and they're like, Frank, we only have like less than an hour to film this scene. We need to get rid of these geese. How can you get rid of these geese? And I'm like, do you have an umbrella? And they're like
Indiana Jones method.
Yeah. And I basically had to scare them all off, and they must have been eggs nearby because they were holding their ground, man. Yeah. It was like one of those things where I'm like, back up, and they're like, doing the xenomorph mouth coming out and hissing at you, and you're just like oh,
fucking out of here, bitches, my block.
Dude, seriously, geese don't fuck around, dude.
It's like The Wire, but for marine birds.
Yeah, seriously, it's one of those things that like we in Massachusetts, the birds we have are quite big and quite aggressive because we have geese that are everywhere and we have turkeys that are everywhere. Like there's so like if you're ever in Brookline, in Alston, in that area, there's just some reason turkeys everywhere, and they just roam, and they'll sometimes block your car, and you have to like stop and be like, get the fuck out of the way, I'm trying to go to work, and you're motioning turkeys off the street.
I had to go to Boxborough for men's league games every now and then, and the turkeys out there, man.
Yeah.
I almost fucking blew one up.
Yeah. And have you ever seen that they just jump up into trees too?
It's the craziest shit.
It's the craziest thing.
Do they taste the same as the turkeys you'd get at the deli?
Yes, I would assume so, but it's one of those things that they're wild turkeys, so they're probably tighter muscles, like they're running around sort of thing.
They're fast.
They're fast, but supposedly they're the same thing. Who knows? Like it's supposed.
We're gonna find out for you. We're gonna investigate.
Gonna have to go to the farm ourselves.
Yeah. Well, Frank, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, this has been all over the place.
We need to do this more often. I don't know what we want to call this, but we're gonna call it fun. Fun Thursday. I don't know, but.
Yeah, we went all over the place, all over the map here, but it was a pleasure, and I'm
shout out Goose, shout out
Geese.
Minnesota Goose.
All
right, have a good one, buddy.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, and I hope everyone supports your show, bro.
Thank you. Well, no show tomorrow. The mystery guest has been pushed to next Friday. So
hey, there you
go. No show tomorrow, so we'll be back at this on Monday. So have a good weekend, and stay warm out there. It's still cold.
Still cold.
Spring's coming soon.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 70 next week. I'm counting it.
Hey. There's just this constant changes. It's gonna fuck my allergies, I swear.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, thank you, Frank. Have a good one. See y'all on Monday.
Adios.